The sly, judgmental comment that comes off maybe as sarcasm, as a joke, but is really chipping away at your relationship. The Secret Formula of Femininity is not just a podcast, it's a movement, it's a community. There's all kinds of resources. So stay tuned for everything associated with this work that we do. Underneath a sly comment is a judgment. You have to be able to clearly communicate your needs. Otherwise, you will build up resentment and you start making these sly comments. If you got a bunch of paper cuts every day, all the time, then it would be painful and it would really affect your well being. Do not call a man boy, right? A man that you respect, do not call him boy. They come across as subtle. The person tries to present them as harmless, but you know from how you hear it, how you feel, the energy behind it, that there is really judgment and unexpressed feelings that come with it. Part of the power of a relationship, a true relationship built on love and acceptance, is acceptance of each other's differences. You would be amazed at the small things that couples get all up in a tizzy about the other person. Things that have no bearing on how they're being treated, on how that person feels about them. You really have to get at the root of why you are being so passive aggressive, which is really what a sly judgment, a sly comment is. It's usually insecurity, fear, and not having examples of how to be direct and compassionate when you communicate. A relationship is determined by what you do when you're upset, when you're displeased, when you're dissatisfied, how you handle conflict, how you communicate when you're not feeling good. It's all cute when you're hugged up, when you're booed up, when you are feeling good about each other. But let that person have a bad day, or let you have a misunderstanding, or let some childhood insecurity pop up where you weren't heard as a child and you're feeling like your partner isn't hearing you. Words can cause wounds and they can cause fissures or breaks in the relationship that you don't even realize until sometimes it's too late. When they talk about the four deadly styles of communication that are very predictive of divorce. So if you're married and you engage in these four things that I'm going to tell you over and over and over, you are creating a wedge between you and your partner that could be irreparable. Contempt is criticism like supercharged, like it's like a dislike. You ever been around someone and you can tell that they do not like you? They dislike you, right? Just by the way that they say things. That's what sly comments feel like. Giving feedback to your partner is also not just vulnerable for the person receiving the feedback, it's vulnerable for the person giving the feedback. It's once you pause and acknowledge that you are feeling some sort of insecurity, some fear, some dissatisfaction, some like hesitation to communicate in a healthier way, you can change what you're going to say and how you're going to say it. You want to hone in on that so that you can comment on that, right? And you have to be willing to have the boundaries to say there's some things that it's that person's decision. Rule number one, first of all, fall back, ladies. Stop doing the most all the time. If you feel like you're doing too much, you probably are. And there's probably an element of control where you feel like, well, if I don't do it, it's not going to get done. Sometimes that curiosity is going to lead back to you and the boundaries that you haven't set. Most relationships do not end because there was no love in the first place or there's love lacking. It's usually lack of conflict resolution, lack of knowing how to stick it out, lack of having models of how men should be, how women should be. Judgment pushes love away and encouragement draws it to us. If you can't find a way to make it a supportive statement, then maybe it just doesn't need to be said.